Afternoon, everyone. Long time no see. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I'm rocking my Melon app t-shirt right now. We love Melon app. Live stream sponsored by Melon. Link in the video description on YouTube. Okay, here's the deal. I did my other show, right, on automotive, electrification, some of the proposed government rules that may be coming out, pushing EVs, in my opinion, etc. Check out that video if you haven't seen it. And so I was checking that out, right? And I was getting my sources together and I was going to put stuff in, and I came across this article and I'm like, what? I need to do a video on this right now. This is insane. I don't know if you've seen this. There's a lot going. I told you there's so much going on in the automotive space, and when change was going to happen, it's going to happen very rapidly. And that's what we're seeing. So I'm scrolling past this, and here's what I saw. Fox Business, okay? Fox Business by Ken Martin. Quote, headline, Tesla cuts prices in the U.S. again. Again. That has delivered so many, I don't know what happened there, sorry about that. That has delivered so many different vehicles to the US market. I think they did like 500,000. I think they did 500,000 deliveries last year to the US market. So just super, super huge. It's just really, really crazy, right? In terms of the volume. Well, now it's just gone even crazier, okay? It's just gone even crazier. And let's look at this. Let's see if I can get this on screen right now. Hold on a second. I might be able to show this. I might be able to show the screen here. Give me a second. Let's see here. Yes. Okay. Cool. 1 second. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I might be able to share some slides here soon. I might be doing that soon. I like that. Let's see here. Give me a second. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, here we go. And let's look at this right here. Boom, look at that. Right there. Model S starts at $84,000, $84,990, $5,000 cut. Model X, $5,000 cut. I mean, unbelievable. You're talking, they're just dropping prices, okay? They're dropping prices in a big way. And then if you look at some of these, you go back here, there's still some other price drops that we see here with the Model 3 down in pricing, the Model Y down in pricing. I mean, that's a big deal, okay? That's a huge deal. So, I mean, Elon Musk is not, in my opinion, is not playing around. He is just being more and more aggressive in terms of gaining market share. And this is a situation where some manufacturers are starting to feel the pain and where there's maybe a push for more electrification. I mean, there's people that are talking about what's going on with Elon and Twitter and all that type of stuff. And there may be some Elon Musk haters out there, but my goodness, this is a company that's doing big things. And obviously with the shift of the tax credits now, where you have to have a certain component on shore here in the US, domestically made. And with Elon doing the gigafactories and other things, I mean, what kind of advantage is Tesla going to be looking at? And I don't know all the logistics and all the ins and outs of everything right there of how that's going to exactly play out. And again, in one of the other articles we talked about last time in the last show, it's unclear how many vehicles are going to qualify after April 18th for that $7,500 tax credit, okay? But just stand alone, I mean, it all comes together to have a massive advantage for Tesla. And again, about 2/3 of all electric vehicles in the US are Teslas that are sold. Now, of course, other manufacturers are trying to push online, but I mean, when you have Model 3 now with a $1,000 price cut, Model Y with a $2,000 price cut, both of those are under now $50,000 per their website, I believe. That's a big deal. Okay. Now, of course, yes, big price cuts on Model S and Model X. According to this article, they don't sell a huge amount of those, but the Model 3 is and Model Y, those are big sellers, big sellers. So I think that we're looking at, wow, this is crazy. So I mean, it used to be, these used to be much more expensive vehicles. I mean, if you look at last year of where these things were at versus now, I mean, that's nuts. Which other manufacturers are doing that? Who's cutting prices, year over year? I mean, this dramatically. So, I mean, if Tesla was gaining market share now, Tesla was winning before, what are they going to do now? What's going to happen now? I mean, think about that. If you're Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Ford, I mean, how do you deal with this new Jaguar? I mean, how do you deal with this? There's a lot of questions out there, and dealers as well. I mean, what happens now? It's a very challenging environment, in my opinion, and we'll see. Now, where does that put Tesla? How can they do that? I mean, Elon Musk is very smart. Does he still have profit in these vehicles? They're a public company. I'm sure there'll be some discussion about it. In my opinion, that's what I would guess. But is he doing this as a loss leader to gain market share? Is he doing this in anticipation of continuing a certain sales velocity with the tax credits potentially, with the changes coming on April 18th? What does he know? I mean, why are they doing this? So there's a bunch of different questions. Number one, why do you think Elon Musk is doing this? Do you think that he's doing this because maybe not all those vehicles are going to qualify right now for the tax credits and they want to keep that sales velocity going on? Is he doing that because, look, that this may be a massive market share play? So what happens if a lot of Teslas qualify for the tax credit after April 18th and you cut prices and you just gain all this market share? Now Tesla's starting to feel some competition because other manufacturers are starting to online a lot of their EV offerings. So those are out there, right? There's a lot of, is he doing this because maybe, like I said, the sales of the S and the X weren't really there, so he just priced them. I'm sure they have some very good data science out there, some very good statistics, some very good analysis, market analysis about where they need to be. It's really interesting. This goes back to what I said before, which is everything's changing in the automotive space. I mean, people that thought that it's all going to continue. I mean, I think it's, even the last 2-3 years have been very good. I think it's going to right now become very, very challenging. Very challenging. Okay. I think that's a big deal. I think it's a big deal. But I think there's always opportunity, but it wouldn't surprise me if we see some consolidation in the automotive space at the manufacturer level. It really wouldn't surprise me. I think we will certainly see consolidation in terms of models. I think we'll see some model lines. We've seen that before, right? Where there's less, cars being made, more SUVs. So I think we're going to see some consolidation in there. I mean, do we really need all these SKUs of different products out there? And particularly when we're looking at electrification, there's different sort of thought processes and infrastructure there, charging, range, obviously range, tech, price, charging times at range and charging times, very, very, very important. Also the life cycle of the batteries, how long these batteries are going to last. I mean, a lot of the warranties I see out there, I think are like 8 years, right? 8 years, 100,000 miles. I think that's right. I may be wrong about that. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Are we going to see that change? I mean, a lot of people, as I said in one of my other earlier videos on automotive, the average life cycle of a vehicle on the road right now, wrong. The average age of the vehicle right now on the road right now, I think is 12.2 years, which is the highest it's ever been. So if we have that kind of situation where times are tough and people are sort of holding on to their vehicles more, what happens if I have an EV that basically has, a warranty for 8 years on the battery? I mean, it's very costly to change these batteries and everything like that. So how do we deal with that? We're dealing with a lot of first gen electric vehicles out there en masse. What happens when people want to keep their cars 10 years, 15 years? How do we deal with that? How do we deal with where these vehicles go and the batteries, and it changes, right? I mean, I think there's business concerns, environmental concerns. There's a lot of different concerns. And I'm not sure all these questions have really been answered or necessarily thought through. I think there's a big push for electrification. And I get that, but I think that like there's a lot of things. I mean, listen, if I had to guess, and this is a guess, and again, I'm not giving anyone any advice. If I had to guess, I would say I expect to see some rules here. I think we're going to keep pushing towards EVs. I think like Elon's doing a lot of things to gain market share and gain dominance. And I think maybe the thought process is, hey, listen, as long as we're selling, we're number one, we've got customers, we've got market share, we can figure out the rest later. And it's going to put extreme pressure on other manufacturers out there, other dealerships out there. I think the dealership model is under significant, if not serious threat. We'll see. I mean, a lot of it comes down to all these different rules, because if these rules really get put, I mean, it depends what the rules are. It depends on how much Elon, with these price cuts, and there's a lot to TBD, if you will. But at the edge here, you could see just massive pressure on dealerships very quickly. And they're already feeling. So if you're in a situation where, hey, half the cars, let's say, I'm just throwing out there fictitious numbers, but half the cars have to be EV or have zero, super low emissions that basically only an electric vehicle can reach or a hybrid can reach within like 3 years, something like that. And then what pressure does that put on dealerships? What pressure does that put on used car lots? Do they have different rules? I mean, like what, how do all the rules, how does it all play out? To be determined. We don't know. But let's say even just for new cars, right? 93% of new cars sold are gas powered. They're not electric. So, and I would assume at least some component of gas, maybe hybrid. So now a rule comes out 3 years, half of them have to be electric. And this is just a fictitious, right? But then what? What about all the rebuilds at the dealership level? What about the business models? What about is everyone become, online order takers? Does everything become a Teslafication? But putting all that aside, just in terms of sheer economics, you see the massive success that Elon has had. And now you've cut prices. Whoo! I mean, again. I mean, this is a price cut, almost a significant price cut, if not heavy price cut, almost every quarter now. So we'll see what this does. But I think this is a big news. I think this is a big impact out there. I think this is no joke. At the very least, I would say this is Elon saying that he's very serious about being competitive in each one of the segments and with each of the models, and going after market share, and it's not going to quietly let other manufacturers muscle in here. So then you say, okay, well, now what, right? And they have the supercharger network and everything. And I really feel like other manufacturers, do they own their networking? There's Electrify America. It's more, whereas Tesla has, it's all sort of a, not unlike Apple, kind of in terms of the user, in terms of having very consumer friendly type of a setup there. But, Tesla has kind of a closed loop situation. They're controlling, to a large extent, the logistics in their environment. So this is a big deal. These are big cuts. I mean, we're looking to $1,000 to $5,000. It's very significant on the heels of a recent up to 20% price cut. The big questions are what are the proposed regulations reportedly, that I just talked about in the last video. So we need to talk about that for the push for electrification. Another question is which vehicles, if any, still are going to qualify for the tax credits for the $7,500, because that's also another big deal. So those things are really two big pieces of this equation that we need to look at. And then Elon talked about before where some of these price cuts were to adjust for interest rates. If interest rates go down, do the prices go back up? Who knows? I think it's very interesting. But that also puts pressure on the manufacturers. Will you see, what are they going to do with their programs? What are they going to do with their incentives? What are they going to do with their pricing? Where do profits go now? A lot of questions out there, but Elon is definitely in the game, making moves, very, very serious. It's no joke. And, product and pricing. I mean, that's super important. Talent. What did I say? The fundamentals will return. Reality is return. Reality 2023 is the year reality is going to hit again, and it is hitting in a big, big way. Products, pricing, talent, products, pricing, talent, products, pricing, talent, marketing, right? All these things. It's not like, that's where the focus is going to be. This is a big, big deal. There's no question about it. I wanted to hear from you. I saw this. I'm like, I have to talk about this. This is a big deal. So what do you think about it? You let me know. Tell me where you're at. And there we go. So that's the news right now. I'm John DiValero. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.